What is up, everybody? Good morning. It is Friday, August 20th, and I hope you are doing well. We have a shorter show, I think, today. Not too much happening in the news, mostly the market being the focus today. We'll hop into it. I'm going to try something out new here. Got a lot of feedback from people. I absolutely love that. So with that in mind, today's topics that we're going to cover, Sobe Life selling his punk to OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. We have parallel trading cards continuing to be at the top of the list for volume on OpenSea, and why trading cards, in my opinion, I think are such a prominent and possibly explosive market for NFTs. CyberKongz VX continues to absolutely just rip, and why I think we're kind of going to see this follow the Meebits price point. And then Pixel Vault. Pixel Vault announcing some of the ways that they are going to utilize comic number 2, how they're going to kind of follow Euler Beats, how owners that have their apes in will be able to generate revenue. Really just an example of the ability for people to make money, bringing value to holders. Pixel Vaults, just continues to do what they do. And then on the market, the market's kind of swinging back. We're seeing that lull for some of these projects either find its bottom or start to come up again. So it could be a crazy weekend as we see people start to get bullish again. So super excited. And as always, everybody, good morning. It's, only the NFT community is the only community I know if I say good morning, I'll get 500 good mornings back. It's super, super awesome. So with that in mind, let's jump into the news in a little bit more depth. Sobe Life, who has been around forever, and is really kind of, a super OG in the space. And I've loved to chat with him and see his thought process on a lot of things. Putting out this tweet: from growing up in Section 8 housing as the son of humble immigrants to selling a CryptoPunk to OBJ, it's been a wild ride. Only getting started too. We're gonna make it. It's just insane. To hear his story, understand that it wasn't it's not like he's off here having a lavish lifestyle his entire life. He's really positioned himself to be in the right place at the right time. And it's really cool to see how his punk has gone. He's gotten the punk, and now it's gone off to OBJ, and it's just crazy. Even to say you sold something to OBJ or to a celebrity or a very famous sports player seems like just an amazing kind of thing to talk about. So I'm so happy for him. If you're wondering what he picked up and what the fuss is about, well, with OBJ picking up a punk and setting it as his profile photo on Twitter, he has 4.1 million followers. So now there's a bunch of people that are probably looking at it and saying, what the hell is this, Odell? What did you buy? What are you doing? So he picked up a nice smiley here. Again, I'm a huge smiley, lover, and I can't wait to get one of my own. But yeah, OBJ picking up a punk. Very cool. So I wanted to chat a little bit about Parallel. And so Parallel is a trading card game that is, of course, blockchain based, and it's NFTs. I saw this tweet this morning on some alpha of what's happening with Parallel going forward. There's going to be an airdrop. The snapshot, I don't believe, has been taken. There's going to be kind of discussion about sets. There will be different drops based on parasets. It looks like the least amount of cards to complete a paraset is 5 PD1s, and then about 35 ETH at current prices to get there. I don't know as much as I'd love to know about Parallel, but I will kind of touch on trading cards from the interview I had last night with Justin Taylor. And what we were talking about was the biggest IP hasn't come into the space. If we see Pokemon come into NFTs, that is a trading card game, and you can kind of see it's very easy to say okay, trading cards are collectible, they're sold, that market very easily transfers into NFTs. And that's why when I look at trading card games that have projects, if they have good IP, The game is fun to play. People will be interested in it. It makes me bullish. I don't think we know enough quite yet to say, hey, this is something that people are going to want to do for the next 30 years and it becomes big IP and it's super fun to play, et cetera, et cetera. For right now, I think all we know is that it's a trading card game. And, that's kind of we don't know what it's going to look like in a couple years here. So I certainly would say the best thing to do here is following the project, understanding, studying it. And I think that's what I'm going to do over the weekend here is really deep dive into it. Because I think gaming, trading cards, anything that's like gamification based, I will put money into. So this is one that's kind of just slipped through my fingers a little bit, and I certainly think everybody should have on their radar. The FUD I've seen is, we haven't seen it yet. Like this is, things are trading at, tens of thousands of dollars, and there isn't a game out yet. So, I think there is a little bit of speculation, but when it comes to card games and gamification, like I said, I'm very bullish. Also speaking about gamification and special economics, Punks Comics revealing that they are working on some fancy economics for issue number 2 for Punks Comic, and this comes off of the back of the Ape Madness contest where there were 8 apes out of 64 chosen, and that's 64 chosen out of a pool of about 500 apes. This has never been done before. There will be an on-chain royalty model returning a portion of the revenue to the eight elite apes that won Ape Madness. The distribution of the comic will be gamified to the extreme. Again, bullish on gamification. And so Tropo Farmer here saying this is possibly the first example of on-chain royalties for actors, and he considers himself an actor as he has his ape in the comic. And to further add that on, like Punk's token treasury has been established. There is liquidity. There's a multi-sig. There's ETH in there, and how that's being derived, and seeing what we're gonna see happen with these other comic sales and all this other stuff. Like it's an exciting time to be around Punk's comic. And I've said it like time and time again. Like I'm super bullish. Disclosure: I own Punk's comics. I own DAO tokens. I own meta passes. Or mint passes, and we can just see like every time they tweet something, every time G-Funk is pushing the project forward, it's bringing value back to the holders. And yeah, like while we see like the most value from issue number 2 is going to come to these elite apes, there's still going to be ways for you as a buyer, as a holder, to make money, I believe. So there will be a special edition with individual covers inspired by each elite ape. These will be sold similar to Euler Beats on a bonding curve with royalties to the owner of the Genesis comic. And the elite ape will receive the Genesis comic as a gift. I mean, so I remember having this discussion with G-Funk in Malibu when we met in person. Euler Beats and that model works insanely well. And there, obviously some missteps from that team. I think they have the understanding, they've seen those missteps, and they can pull it off even better. So when I say I'm bullish on this model, I mean, when this happens, when I figure out the right way to go in on this, to expose myself, I will go all in, because I just have full faith in the team. So sorry to kind of pumping my bags there, but like I have extreme conviction. I think this is high quality. I want all my listeners to know that like Punk's comic needs to be on your radar. I know it's expensive, but it's one of those things you also like with this next comic coming out, understand that having exposure to it and possibly buying it and understand that there's a bonding curve, a real bonding curve, not a FOMO ramp where, hey, you just pay more over time. But if you buy one, if you're like the second person to buy one and then 100 people buy after you, you can instantaneously with liquidity sell back into that bonding curve and, sell it to the 100 and, first person at a certain price. So it is, not to a person, but sell it at the price point after that 100th purchase. So it's a super super interesting mechanic, and I'm excited to see this. And a huge congrats to the 8 Elite Apes. It should make you guys a lot of money. If we look at the crypto market or the NFT market overall right now, we got Art Blocks Curated, number 1 on OpenSea, Parallel Alpha at number 2, CryptoPunks at 3, and Pudgy Penguins at number 4. And then at number 5, a project I've talked about the last 2 days, or last week actually, CyberKongz VX. The floor is currently sitting at 0.68. I think it really is 0.75. I think there's an issue with the one listing that's at 0.68. That project has been not only talked about insanely over the last 24 hours on Twitter Spaces. We've seen tweets from everybody from Deez to Beanie. We saw yesterday he was picking them up. I picked up one right after yesterday's morning mint. And I'm currently looking to pick up another 1 or 2. It just seems like people really like them. They definitely seem to connect better than the Meebits right now. The entire CyberKongz ecosystem certainly seems it's becoming a blue chip. It's finally hitting the oh, I get it now. And I've said this is a project I've overlooked. I certainly think many other people have overlooked. And I think that there's going to be FOMO and there's going to be people going, oh shit, I need to get in over the next 24 hours into the weekend. And we see this project potentially really rip. And as I said, the entire market overall, if we look through this, most things are up. Most prices have come back. Like CyberKongz original almost at 2 ETH. Pugs Comic almost at 2 ETH. Cool Cats almost at is almost back to 1.5 ETH. It's at 1.4. So there's been bounce back in the market. Bored Ape Yacht Club breaking above 15 finally at 15.88. With the Pudgy Penguins at 1.9, that shows that there was FUD yesterday. Lots of people are scared, trying to get out, and then now there's money flowing right back in. Crypto, the Generative Mass project is still kind of bleeding off here. We're at 0.17. We'll probably see that hit a bottom. I think a lot of people are just trying to flip out after the 0.1 mint price. A project that has gotten a lot of attention, I think might really start to blow up, is the 0N1 Force project. It's anime. There's been apparently in the anime fan community a lot of desire for a project that is anime, and this one could fill that kind of that void in the market. Let's see, what else we got here? Fortune Media pulling back under 15 ETH at 14.5 ETH floor. Meebits at 2.8 ETH floor. Hideki Tsukamoto's project Cyber currently at 2.7 ETH floor. There's about 1,000 of these. There is 1,000 of these. His other project, Singularity, trading much higher than this. It will be interesting to see, does this as a standalone project, not on Art Blocks, get the same amount of love? It might be a cheaper exposure into his projects. And we have seen that Hideki is really, really, he's focused on bringing value back to his holders. He was looking into, hey, only people that own Singularity will get my next project. And I think if we see this project not get that same appreciation as Art Blocks, he'll turn around and be like, okay, holders of this get another piece, and it's free money. So I would back Hideki. I'm super super bullish as him as an artist. What else we got here? World of Women at 0.75. VeeFriends breaking under 7 at 6.89. Anything else kind of crazy happening here? I mean, not too much craziness. Fluff World at 0.35. Bored Ape Kennel Club at 1.94. Pegs at 65 ETH. Curio Cards actually breaking down even lower at 0.24. So I think we saw a really huge spike there. So the market's cooling off a little bit. Emblem Vault now on the top, almost to the top 50 now. So obviously a lot of volume going into those rare Pepes. I still think you should pick one up. They're cheap. It's cheap exposure to meme culture. I think it's like what's the floor here? 0.04. And then Treeverse, another project I talk about, Loopify's project 0.37 to pick up a plot. Super interesting project. But yeah, the rest of this, not too much happening. We're flat on areas, and then on some of the top 50, we're seeing the volume and prices come back. As I said, Treeverse sitting at 0.37, and we are obviously seeing lots of volume here. The volume is down a little bit, but I mean, look, in the last kind of like hour here, definitely 24 transactions. It's not like this project came and went. And I'm not seeing any crazy names pop up here. Like I saw Nate River is selling some, but it does look like there are people definitely buying these, and not just one or two. It seems like there are people buying big bags right now. So like I said, bet on, an idea is one thing, but bet on the creator. I would bet on Loopify all day long. Let's see here, Parallel Alpha. So we have the cards coming out right now. I'm not sure when the reveal was. Someone have to tell me. And again, I apologize. I don't know as much about Parallel Alpha as I want to, but I think overall it deserves to be talked about because obviously it's a top 5 project. The volumes are crazy. The prices are crazy, and not in a bad way. I'm saying like it's cool to see this. It's a prominent project. It should be highlighted. And I really think that trading card games and games in general, if you like them and you're like, hey, this is gonna be around, you should buy it. Like it's super exciting. I do think to make the sets is super expensive right now. So does this kind of push out and kind of make a barrier to entry for many newcomers as well as the general public who isn't going to be putting in $100,000 to make these sets, to buy all the cards, to have the best cards, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing pricing at all kind of points here. I've seen a couple big sales, got stuff above 1, stuff down at the floor. So there's definitely insane volume on this project. I mean, the last hour, I got to really scroll down here to get to the bottom of things. But yeah, I will note that on this, we have seen the volume dip, and I'm expecting this to either continue to dip in volume or for the price point to continue to come down, and we'll find a kind of stopping point there. Getting some text messages during the show from Dylan Orrell, actually, ironically, about CyberKongz VX. Like I said, we're actively looking to pick some of these up. The floor is currently at 0.75. Like I said, this 0.69 with the aquatic fur silver chain just does not seem like the transactions will go through. I've tried to buy it all day long. That is an absolute stud of an ape. But right now the floor at 0.75. As far as activity goes, like it's just flying. Like 2 ETH sales, not a problem. Double-digit ETH sales, not a problem. We've seen them come across. And if you want to look at the volume chart, we were seeing 2,000 sales a day. We're currently over the last couple of days here around 500 to 700 sales. The average price around 1 ETH. And this has kind of been a little bit of an up chart. I think this is a project that's just trying to get exposure and talked about on Twitter and Spaces. And as it gets, notified more and people like it and they see it's, a cooler version of Meebits possibly, it will continue to rip. So I have bought one. I have people in my Discord who have told to buy one. Certainly something that's worth picking up if you like the CyberKong project. So super cool to see that happening there. Bored Ape Yacht Club currently above 15 ETH, which is great to see. Any day now, waiting on the Mutant announcement from them on what exactly that will entail. It definitely looks like some people have come across and just bought up the floor. We are seeing people come in right here and buy up 2 to 3. And I think a lot of this money that's coming in, or a lot of these people that are buying, are taking punk money, are taking money from other things that are selling right now and putting them back into a potential product or in project that hasn't gone to possibly what its real valuation is. Like if we look at Punk's and Bored Ape Yacht Club, Bored Ape Yacht Club can very easily still double in price. And, owning one of them, a double in price is 15 ETH in profits, which is 45K. Most people, if they have the money and they have that conviction, are going to do that trade. I really do think that this project has really a long way to go. It'll be around in 20 years. The one thing that came out of yesterday's interview with Justin Taylor was that, does only having 10,000 and only having 10,000 people that you are relying on to be active in the community burn people out in the community? When we look at the big scheme of things, 10,000 people is very small. So it will be interesting to keep that in mind and see what happens there. CyberKong's original project here, volume a little down, average price still up. We've seen some huge sales here. Like I said, 37 ETH 2 hours ago. Yesterday we saw some 35s, some 20 sales, and from big names as well. Let's see, anything big on here? No, it looks like people are either using alt wallets just to keep their names off or not. Axie Boss picking up more. Go Player picking up one. Jimbo. It does seem like another project that I like to have exposure to. So the current floor there is at 2 ETH. And I think I've said before, these can generate their token bananas. The activity currently on Punk's Comic, volume way down. At one point here, we were up in, the hundreds for sales. Yesterday, seeing only 18 sales. Wild. And so really what this has come down to is like we're in this kind of lull period where you can't redeem your mint pass. You can't really do anything with your DAO tokens. You can't really do anything for Comic. And it's really just kind of like a spec play here, waiting for stuff to happen. And I think, there isn't buying when there isn't like FOMO, when things are being talked about and hyped up. And I think we can see like this average price is just moving up. And this pullback from 2.5 to 2 is a really nice, 20% pullback, and potentially a good buying opportunity for anybody who thinks like, hey, the inherent value of these haven't changed. There's volume is down. People want to get out. People need liquidity. I'm going to pick one up. So, definitely keep an eye on the Punk's Comic project. If you want to buy, might not be a bad time to buy right now because I don't see the price going much lower. Yesterday, the Cool Cats seen a bump in volume and a huge bump in average price. The day before, average price of 1.5, and then running all the way to 4 average price. So let's see what big sales we had there, driving this up. Lots of volume over the last 9 hours. I'm expecting a big double-digit sale here that pulled that up. We got a 12 ETH sale from Jared to Keys for a Pepe or the Frog Head. It might be called a Pepe. I'm not sure. But that 12 ETH sale, obviously a huge one. And then what clearly is what brought the average price up, 110 ETH sale for Cool Cat number 3330. And this one now being owned by Coin United. This is one of the 9 hidden cats in the project, which are super, super rare. Has the robot face, robot, and it's exotic. So it is the robot cat. Super, super cool. Will this play off? Potentially. It's a huge bet. Like to make a, $300,000 plus bet, to buy this over a Twin Flames, to buy this over a CryptoPunk, really shows that whoever is doing this either is okay rolling the dice on this or has insane conviction on this project. So this sale obviously being crazy. Let's just see. I'm curious. It was minted to Epic NFT Village. They sat on it and then transferred in a sale at 110 ETH. Wild. Coin United. Let's just take a look real quick. Yeah, so they have some stuff. 250 collected almost. I'm curious what their biggest purchases are. So, wow. So they have a Golden State Warriors Legacy Collection piece for 45. And then after that, wow. Okay. So interesting portfolio here. They also picked up other Cool Cats. Okay. So they have big conviction on Cool Cats. Wild, Pudgy Penguin. I mean, this is not a small player in the space. I always tell people, like, if you see transactions like these happen, go look at the wallet, see what their other recent trades are, what's their activity look like, because people like this they're not just doing this for the fun of it. Like, there's definitely a financial play here. They don't want to just be burning money. We can see that there's absolutely, over the last 14 hours, like, conviction into the Cool Cats project. They're picking up stuff they really like. Pudgy Penguins are on there. Fluff is on there, but there's very clearly a focus on Cool Cats from this account. Dropping, in my opinion, what looks like well into the high hundreds of thousands, probably close to $700,000 into Cool Cats from this one project, or from this one collector. Really crazy to see that. As I talked about, Mr. Tsukamoto's Project Cypher, the floor is currently at 2.7. It's much cheaper than Singularity currently. These are a little hard to display on the computer because they do generate, and this computer with recording isn't going to show them flawlessly moving. It's a little laggy. Cypher number 401 here, currently listed at 2.8. It's another generative project from him, and they definitely look cool moving. But potentially you have to, I think there's some really, really cool looking ones in the higher price points here with the colors and movements. But it definitely does seem like it's another really, really interesting project from him. It still has that kind of circular and orbital kind of feeling, and space feeling, and futuristic feeling from him that we've expected to see. This one actually owned by Pranksy. And if this speaks to you and you really want to own it and you believe in what he's doing, I think it's not a bad purchase. I do think that's the kind of feedback I've heard from people is it doesn't have that, on the wall kind of presence that a Singularity might have, which is like this bright piece of light, and it's, out there. These are very thin lines. It moves, but like the colors don't pop. It doesn't say whoa. And that's kind of been my feedback across the board. So definitely you have to like the art. I think we all agree that he's a great artist, but this has to be a project that really speaks to you, I think, to purchase as well. Really quickly, looking into Punk's floor at 48.69. So still around the same area. Definitely some buying up yesterday. Still some cool Punks on the floor to pick up. We still have stuff like at 54 here. This Cap Forward, not a bad purchase, very punky. We also will look at what has sold today. So as early as like 13 minutes ago, I had another sale for a Silver Chain Punk for 61 ETH over the last 24 hours. Definitely volume picking up, seeing especially with that OBJ sale. Seeing 105 pipe sale. I'm not sure. This is probably a private sale, hopefully for 15 ETH. A lot of these like really low prices are like trades for something plus like 15 ETH, and they do the sale. We had a Wild White go for 195. Wild White with 3D glasses. I love it. We had the Cat Forward with the Mullen sunglasses, one that I also had my eye on, go for 54. Cap Forward actually looks like going for sale. The one I mentioned as well, going for 49. Somebody taking the bid. VR Nerd glasses going for 77. A lot of stuff that I was looking at definitely selling. I'll shout out the NFT attorney and Matt Barrera that they picked up a Punk yesterday, I believe. I want to say it was this one right here. That they picked up this Punk together. to get a knitted cap beanie. But yeah, like I think a lot of people are starting to try to get in. The tides are starting to definitely shift. I can feel it a little bit internally as I see volumes start to pick up, pricing start to pick up, big sales start to happen. Obviously we like the blondes. We saw a blonde of big shades go for 200, another blonde for 50. 3Ds are selling. Definitely, I can feel the momentum starting to pick up on punks again, which usually shows what the entire market's doing. Speaking on cryptocurrencies specifically, we're up almost 8% over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin being up 5.5% to almost $48,000. Ethereum up 7% to $3,265. So it's really just a whole market lift across the board. Also notably in the top three here, Cardano up 20% in the last 24 hours. And we can see a lot of the other markets seeing double-digit swings. It's really we're seeing the entire market kind of almost take like a sigh of relief as we see things start to move up again. Money still flowing in, attention sticking around, volume staying up. And I think going into the weekend, this speaks positively for what's going to happen. That is the show for today. I hope you guys enjoy. As always, leave comments, leave me some feedback. I'll try to continue to improve the show. Things definitely felt different today, I think, with either the lack of kind of like stuff going on, and certainly trying to make changes here. So leave some feedback. I'm also going to try something out. If you made it this far, leave a comment below or tweet me on Twitter. The question of the day is, what project do you think will be number one on OpenSea's volume on their stat chart on come Monday? Do you think it will still be Art Blocks? Do you think it will be CryptoKongs? Do you think it will be punks again? Who will be number one on OpenSea's charts come Monday morning when we record the show? Let me know below. If you get it right, we'll give you a shout out, hopefully. Peace.